it's Stephie and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about how to go about quitting your current job, how to submit your 2 weeks notice, and some tips. I also wanted to warn y'all this is going to be a longer video, so be sure to grab a snack or some water, maybe some cider, some framboise, whatever you need to watch this video, because this is going to be kind of on the longer side, and I'm going to be taking some questions over on Instagram. If I already cover one of the questions that you have and you don't need to watch the rest of this video, that's totally okay. You can click on out, except first, please be sure to give it a thumbs up before you leave. Otherwise, if you want to stick around with me and hear all about how to quit your job, then keep on watching. This can go one of two ways. Either you have decided and are 100% sure that you want to give your 2 weeks notice, you are ready to take the next step in your career, or you could be in the situation where you have this other job offer, you're not 100% sure about it, and you kind of want to be talked out of it or see if you can use that to negotiate a better salary, a better situation, what have you. My first piece of advice is to not submit your 2 weeks notice unless you are 100% sure that you want to be done with a certain company. So when you submit your 2 weeks notice, usually that is to HR and your direct supervisor. These days, many companies, it's sufficient to just submit an email, but basically the essence of that email, it doesn't have to be like super long. Just keep it straight to the point. Basically, you're saying, thank you for the opportunity to have worked here. I'm resigning from my position and I'm giving 2 weeks notice. My last day will be blank date. I will transition my responsibilities to the appropriate person during these 2 weeks. Personally, I like to keep it at a very just vanilla level. Don't feel like it's the time or place. These are all the reasons why I'm leaving this job. I don't really feel like that's the place to air out all of your grievances. I knew I was 100% ready to leave that job. However, there are certain people that I wanted to keep a good relationship with. I didn't want to leave the firm or any job really burning bridges. So out of courtesy, I personally went and talked to each of those people. I want you to hear this straight from me. I don't want it to come to you through the grapevine. I really value your relationship and I hope to, stay in touch even after I leave the company. And that was really important for me, just that you respect them and you respect the time and the effort that they've put into you as a professional. So if you have people like that, be sure to go and tell them and just be upfront and straight about it. Whether you have decided to leave your job and you're like 100% set on it, or you're not 100% set on it, just know that if you do have those good relationships with people, when you go and tell them that you're looking to leave the firm or you're looking to leave the company, they are going to try to win you back and try to keep you. You have all of this knowledge, all of this experience, and of course, if they can keep that within the firm or company, is in their best interest, and having to train a new person. Be aware of that and know that that's coming. I knew that when I was going to go and talk to certain partners at my firm that, yeah, they were going to try to persuade me to stay, which is one of the reasons why I say, if you're not 100% sure about making the move, even though you have a job offer, don't submit your 2 week notice until you're 100% sure. Kind of detrimental. There are some companies that as soon as you give your 2 weeks notice or you say, I'm gonna quit, they will actually have you leave that day. And it really will just depend on the specific company. At one of the companies, that was typically what they would do, but because I was in a certain department and I was transitioning my work and my knowledge to someone else, they kept me around still for 2 weeks. My best advice to learn if that's the case at your company is just to ask around as discreetly as you can. If you have friends in your company, then ask them if they've heard anything. Be sure to have some savings to get you through until you start your next job and get that paycheck. Your current company may actually try to keep you, and they might try to move things around for you so that everything's in line with your goals and with where you're wanting and the direction you want to go. And I think that's great to an extent. My situation was kind of different. I liked the work that I was doing, but there were just certain situations. There was more politics that had affected a decision to get me promoted than anything else. Not my work performance, not the value that I added or the way that I treated people. To my knowledge and to my understanding, I know I've talked about this in one of my videos, but because of that held me back from getting a promotion that I knew I deserved and other people knew I deserved. And whenever I talked to certain people, they were like, oh, I thought that you had gotten promoted. And I was like, no, I didn't get promoted. That was one of the reasons that made me want to look for something different, because I knew that, you know, I'm a really hard worker, I'm very loyal, I'm very dedicated, and I want to put that energy and that effort and that excitement towards a job that I know is going to be reciprocating that to me as well. You know, it's a give and take. I knew when I went to tell people that I was quitting that they would try to keep me, and I had already made the decision to move on to the other job. It just aligned more with my future goals. It was in the field that I wanted to work in this environment that's really exciting and driven, and just a place where I felt like the output that I'm giving, the energy, I would actually be able to provide value. And that is one of the biggest things, like the biggest motivators for any employee, is to know that the work that you're doing actually means something overall. It's not just like wasted effort, not necessarily because of what was happening here. It was more forward looking and future focused, which I talked about in my last video as well, about deciding if it's time for you to move jobs or not. Segue into the next point about negotiating for your salary. So let's say that you actually really do like your current job, you just don't feel like you're being paid enough or in line with others for whatever reason. It's okay to go out and look for another job that maybe is more in line with that goal as well. And when you have that job offer, you can use that as leverage and say, I have this job offer and they're gonna pay me X amount. If you are a good worker and they want to keep you, they will do what they can to get you to similar compensation. And it stinks that you sometimes have to do that. You have to go out and like have this like market data about how much you should be being paid. But you can use that as leverage, because your employer will know this person already has a job offer out there. Like, unless I can meet it or be very close to it, you know, I'm gonna lose this valuable worker. They offered me more money. They offered me the promotion that I knew I should have gotten, and offered me to be able to work in the area that I wanted to work in internal controls, more focused on that. In that situation, yes, I could have leveraged the other job offer for the current job that I was at. One of the things though that was kind of in the back of my mind as I was going through it, because I did consider it. I knew that they would try to keep me, but I didn't know that this is everything they would be telling me that would happen if I stayed. And so I really did think about it. I concluded for myself anyways, and this could be my pride, this could be my ego, but I'm just gonna tell y'all just so you know my thought process. For me, it kind of bothered me that it took me going out, actually trying to quit, for them to see the value that I bring. Also, on top of that, if your current job did try to keep you, or they gave you a certain number, maybe it was more than what your new job's offering you, you could even try to use that and leverage it with your new job and say, hey, my current employer, they're gonna pay me X amount of money. And you can tell your recruiter, if you're working with a recruiter or with the HR people at the new company, is there anything that can be done with the new company to close the gap on it? So whether that's increasing your salary, whether that's a signing bonus, whether that is more PTO days, you know, there are different factors in compensation that you can use and benefits that you can use to leverage both of these offers against each other. Now, keep in mind that you've already negotiated and gone back and forth about the offer that you have from the new job. This might not work, but if you didn't, for whatever reason, then maybe you could give it another try. So now I'm gonna go ahead and move onto my Instagram. Just as a little side note, be sure to go and follow me over on Instagram at Stephie Mills. I like to ask and check in with y'all, like, are there specific things you want me to cover in the video? And if you are a follower of mine on there, especially on my Instagram stories, you will see that. So let's move on to my Instagram, because I asked y'all. One of the questions y'all sent me is there a right time to quit your job? And have y'all noticed I'm not saying anyone's names, because I'm gonna keep it confidential for y'all. I got you. I honestly think that you will know when is the right time for you. We all have our thresholds of what we can accept in a job, being passed over for a promotion, whether that's not making enough money as you think you should be making, not being given specific opportunities compared to other people. Maybe you're in the midst of some like bullshit drama that has nothing to do with work and you're over it. Everyone has their thresholds of when enough is enough. juju about when is the right time for yourself to at least start looking for a job, because the job search process, you never know how long that's going to take you, and you don't want to wait until you're like super fed up with it, because you might end up settling, and that's not any good either. A lot of accounting firms will say this: unless you want to burn a bridge, don't quit during busy season. There really isn't a right time, because especially in public accounting and in any job, there's constantly deadlines. There probably isn't going to be ever like the right time. It just depends on when you find the opportunity, whether that is in the summer or if it's during busy season. If you like know in your heart of hearts that you want to try industry out, but you might want to come back to the firm, definitely don't burn a bridge by leaving during like a major deadline, like busy season or some other time sensitive project, if you want that place to be your safety blanket. But outside of that, I would say there really isn't a right time. Okay, next. Should I say to my boss that I'm already looking for a new job? I already asked for a raise. Y'all can chime in with your opinions, but my opinion is I personally never told any of my bosses that I was looking. When it comes to something like looking for a new job and telling someone, like telling your employer and someone who has like a direct effect on your livelihood, by telling someone, hey, I'm looking for a new job, I'm not loyal to you. That's basically what you're saying. I have no loyalty to you. I don't think that's in your best interest. I mean, ideally, if in a perfect world, we would be honest to each other about that, because you never even know. Maybe you start looking for a job today because a certain situation is just like, you've had enough, or whatever the case may be, but maybe in 6 months you haven't found a new job, the situation has resolved itself, then everything, it's a wash. So I personally wouldn't recommend telling people that you're looking for a new job. Even like my coworkers, I wouldn't tell them unless it was someone I was actually close to, I considered a true friend. It's just, I feel like it creates unnecessary drama. It creates this feeling of like, oh, I don't need to go to you because you're not going to be here anymore. Until you actually have a firm offer in your hands, still put in your effort. That's your integrity, you know? Don't act like you're not going to be there. Continue working as hard as you are. Keep trying to add value, because like I said, that's your integrity, that's your character, and don't let your behavior and your actions be affected by anything outside of you. Good things will come back to you. Karma is so real, and as long as you continue to be a good worker, but you're also looking for a job on the side and it doesn't affect your current work, I think that's fine. There's no harm, no foul in my opinions. Okay, next question. What should I do if I need references but my boss doesn't know I'm applying for a new job? In public accounting, it was a little bit easier because you can always ask like one of your peers or one of your coworkers, or maybe one of the seniors you've worked with before if you feel close to them. If you have a true, genuine relationship and connection to them, if they're unhappy and they're looking for another job, then you want to help them out and you want to support them, whether they're at the firm or not. If you have people like that around you who are like that, who are just supportive of you, because, you know, ultimately we want people to achieve their goals. I have asked my coworkers or my previous bosses to give me a reference if I still have a good relationship with them, which majority of them I do. So those are the people I would say to give you a reference. Your current boss, I would be very careful about that, and very careful, like I said, about telling people that you are looking unless you like truly trust them. One of y'all asked how to maintain a positive relationship with previous employer, not burning bridges. I think I answered your question, but something else I did want to talk about, the fact of like not burning bridges. I'm honest about why I'm going, but I'm not trying to like go below the belt or be dramatic, or I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. Definitely important to have an honest and frank conversation, whether that's with, you know, your supervisor, other people in the firm, or HR whenever you do like your exit interview. But I wouldn't ever do anything to burn a bridge. At least I hope I haven't done anything to burn a bridge. Like I said, for example, leaving people high and dry. Like if you gotta leave right before a deadline, that's just, it is what it is. But do everything in your power to set your teams up and the people that you're leaving up as good as you can until, you know, your 2 weeks are over. Keep things very like facts driven. Keep emotion out of it. Keep personal feelings and personal issues out of it, any reasonable person would understand. It's possible that you will burn a bridge with certain people just by the mere fact of you leaving a certain company, but I think that there are more people who you won't be because they know that you're trying to look for something outside of what is being given to you at this current job. And if they know you and they enjoy working with you, they'll take you back if you ever needed or wanted to come back. Also answered your question about should you be honest about why you're quitting or only say you're pursuing new opportunities. I would say be honest in a tactful, professional way. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, I hate y'all, or you know, this company's lame. But I do really think that there is a lot of benefit that can be had by being transparent and being honest, whether that actually affects change in the company or whether that's just making your conscience clear. I still think that it's important to be honest. I know that kind of contradicts the whole telling your boss that you're looking for a new job, but I hope you understand my reasoning for that. I think it's important to be honest to the right people. Like, you don't want to be creating all of this drama to a bunch of people, but if it's to HR or if it's to your direct supervisor or someone who can affect change, then yes, I think that it is very important to have an honest and open conversation about that. Just know by being honest that it could hurt people's feelings, it could burn bridges. If you try your best to be tactful, there's always a chance that it could backfire. People could take things the wrong way. Everyone has an opinion, but at the end of the day, do what makes you feel good about yourself as a person. If that means being honest and transparent and giving light to a certain situation, then go ahead and do that. If you want to avoid that drama and you're over it and you just want to go and be forward looking, that's okay too. It just really depends on what is going to make you feel satisfied and happy with your transition. If you regret quitting your job, how can you go back to it, get hired again? So that goes back to not burning your bridges. If you're respectful and you go to those people who you truly value their relationship and you tell them that, I really appreciated what you've done for me while I've been here, all of the support and all of the advice that you've given me, and you've truly been a mentor for me in my career. Like, if you really have that person there and you maintain that relationship and you tell them candidly, as long as you continue to foster those relationships, you should be fine. Whether that means 6 months after the fact, contacting them and just being like, hey, just wanted to check in, see how you're doing. If you're ever in the area, you want to grab lunch, or just continuing to have that relationship. Just because you're not at that company, you can't talk to them or they can't be your mentor. What one of my mentors told me, and which reminds me, I need to contact her. It's important to keep those relationships, and everyone comes into your life for a reason, and I think it's just fostering those relationships that are truly important to you. As long as you keep that going, you do have those good relationships, they will always want you back. Like, trust me, because you already have the knowledge, you already have the skills, there's not a lot of onboarding that you need because you've already been there. If you did a good job and you were a good worker and you were respectful, they should want you back. Every situation is different, obviously. Okay, this video is about to get so dang long because these questions are juicy. If you don't like your manager, how do you stay calm when giving 2 weeks notice? What do you say to them? You know what? It would have been so damn nice. I'm thinking about a specific example, and I'm like, it would have been so damn nice to just like lay it all out there and be like, you the reason why. We all want to say that. We all want to be just like unloading on that person. You think in your mind, God, that would feel so dang good if I could just like lay it all out there on them and tell them how it is and tell them this is why I'm leaving and whatnot. But sit back and think, is that really going to affect change? Is that really going to do any good other than make you feel better for letting it all out? I don't know, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I think going into that conversation prepared, having your emotions together, and just knowing, it could go left or it could not, it's possible. You know your boss best, your manager, whoever it is that you're talking to best. Is it gonna do you any good to come at them with, these are all the reasons why I'm leaving, because you're a terrible manager, you're a terrible person, you done all this wrong, all this other stuff? Is that gonna do any good? Or can you be the bigger person and say, I'm leaving because I found this opportunity that better aligns with my goals? It may so happen that that person will just open up and say, obviously we'll ask you why. There are some people who will just be like, oh, okay, and not want to get to the meat of it. But for the most part, they'll ask you why, or maybe that's just a perfunctory thing that they have to ask. Why? Do your best to be the bigger person, and if there is a reason why, you know, tell them in a calm way. Like, you think in your mind that going off and getting all like finger wagging and listen here person, you know, you think that it's going to make you feel better. Being the bigger person, being the professional, that'll make you feel better. Sometimes that's the best kind of feeling. I don't know how the conversation is gonna go, but I am just gonna encourage you to stay calm, being the bigger person. And sometimes some people, they don't even know that they're being a bad manager or they're making you feel some kind of way. They don't know, they're not self-aware enough, and maybe they'll take that opportunity to ask you like why, or you know, I didn't know I was doing that, or what can I do better? Think of it that way, like you are moving on to something bigger and better. Show them what they're about to miss. They're about to miss someone who brings value, who is intelligent, like emotionally intelligent, who can control their emotions and are just a damn good person. And show them what they're gonna be missing. Have that conversation and have like actual facts, specific examples to give, and then they may just be like, oh, you're taking it the wrong way. Or they could be like, wow, I didn't know I was coming across that way, or you know what, I was going through a hard time and I took it out on you and I'm sorry. You never know, but I think being the bigger person, the best route. All right, y'all, so those are all of the questions that I'm gonna take on this particular topic because this video is gonna be damn long. I have 3 final thoughts for y'all on this topic. I would say and caution y'all is to not cry wolf all the time. Don't be that person who is like constantly, just because something's not going your way or you're working long hours or whatever the case may be, don't be that person who's always like, this isn't working out for me, I'm just gonna go quit and find a new job. Don't cry wolf. If you keep saying that, no one's gonna believe you, and some of the tips that I'm giving you, they won't take you as seriously because they don't think that it's serious. That's been one of the things I've always followed throughout my career. So like I won't ever be like, oh, I'm gonna quit, or this is too much, I'm just like, I'm over this. Maybe to like my work friends, like very close-knit people, but I won't say that to my team. I won't say that to my career advisor or anyone else outside of like my trusted circle. I would not say that unless I truly meant it. That way, you know, if you actually have talked through issues with, you know, whoever, your supervisor, your boss, your career advisor, that you mean business when you actually mean business, and that you've tried on your end to fix whatever you need to fix. Do all that you can, just like I said in my other video, do all that you can to fix the situation before you throw in the towel, and don't be crying wolf. So the last 2 thoughts before I end this video is that it's okay to feel bad. It's okay to kind of have this like feeling of regret, sadness, because you're leaving something that, whether you had a good, mediocre, or bad situation, maybe not bad, maybe if it's a bad situation, you'd be like, peace, deuces. It's okay to feel bad. There were still good parts about it. So when I quit, I was sad. It was a hard thing. I was so used to what I was doing. I was really comfortable, and I really liked certain people there too. So it was a sad moment for me. And even in my vlog, I kind of like teared up as I was leaving, just because it was sad. You're closing a chapter of your life and you're starting a new adventure, but it's okay to feel sad, to feel bad, to feel regretful, to feel like, you know, you're leaving your coworkers high and dry, and it's sad, but you know, that's kind of how life goes. That's how work goes. If something is not in line with your goals, whether that's financial, career, personal, those people who truly matter and who are truly good people inside will know that this is what's good for you. This is what's good for your future. It is what it is, and they won't take it personally. So don't let the fact that you would be, you know, leaving kind of a gap or a hole there stop you from achieving your goals. Don't worry, they will fill in that spot. Maybe not as good because you're probably a damn good employee and a damn good person, but they'll fill in that role. When companies go through hard times, they will lay people off, and I'm sure that the people making those decisions feel bad as well. Don't let that hold you back from moving forward to something that's going to be better for you in your life overall. So I think that's going to conclude this video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any other questions, anything that I can clarify for y'all on this topic, please leave them in the comments below, and I will be sure to get back to y'all, whether it's through comment or through another follow-up video. I hope y'all enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to be a part of our Stephie family because we would love to have you, and I will talk to y'all in my next video. All right. because it is 108 degrees out in these streets here in Texas, and it is damn hot. So let's just roll with it, okay? Oh my gosh, hold on, sorry, how rude, sorry, let me turn this off. It's been a pleasure working here, whether that's true or not. No, Juicy, no ma'am. Come here, Juicy, up. Controls focus, come here, up. Okay. There was, how do I say this? Because of you.